I'm live. I finished part 1 of the chapter entitled Shadow of Ammon. It is a book written by Joan Grant. It's a far memory book. It plays in the old Egypt just before Moses was born, and I had to finish, and I finished now the last little page. It's going to be very short. This is Nebunefer. Nebunefer is Joan Grant, or she is Nebunefer in this past life. She's a man, and she is the older brother of Ramoses, who is the Pharaoh. There's 3 brothers, Ramoses, Nebunefer, and the oldest is Caradan. Caradan is the vizier, the money man of Egypt. And here we have a conversation with Caradan and Nebunefer, because they are looking for the next Pharaoh, and Pharaoh Ramoses has not made a decision. He favors Metmapa, it's a funny spelling here, of his son, but this is a very spoiled boy, Merenptah, M-E-R-E-N-P-T-A-H, Merenptah. And Nebunefer is not really approving of Merenptah. "It is for the welfare of Egypt," said Caradan pleadingly. "Personal consideration must not be allowed to influence your judgment. In any case, you exaggerate the dangers. Horus would not have revealed himself to you unless he had some good reason. If he preferred the usual channel of communication, why did he not appear to some important member of the priesthood?" "Or to Pharaoh himself," Nebunefer says. "Exactly, Neb. Ramoses has proved to be most neglectful of his children, except when he is overindulgent. It now becomes clear neither of us has had children of our own. It is the will of Horus that we shall devote our considerable talents to the training of the future holder of the crook and flail." He beamed at me. His saturine face looked almost rubicund. "I shall take Penpi into my confidence. It will be a great joy to her to know that our lack of children is neither her fault nor mine, but fulfills the purpose of the gods. I'm always a little chary of claiming to understand the gods' purpose, for they have a habit of proving that we saw what we saw from one eye instead of both. A man can do no more than act as seems best to him at the time. Naturally, if our nephew in Horus, forgive me for thinking that you used the phrase facetiously, prefers to be known as the adopted son of the vizier rather than remaining with you at living waters, then we must make suitable arrangements. Consider the glorious fruits which will fall to us through a Pharaoh born of the gods and trained by me in expediency. Even the Hebrews will not be able to negate our treaties. We should gain Babylon without losing an arrow. So, like Ramoses, you hate the Hebrews? I fear them, for they possess many qualities which I dislike in myself. They are so clever at intrigue, so skillful in making one collar of gold serve where an honest man would offer 2, so implacably determined to get the best of a bargain." He paused to stare resentfully at a neat row of baskets purple with ripe mulberries. "Neb, even while I have been talking on a matter so vital to us all, a little scribe who never leaves a secret corner of my mind has counted those baskets and appraised their value. Sometimes I even find myself assessing the son of Horus by terms of his future worth in uterus. What traitor of character could be more deplorable? At Kadesh, though I have never admitted this even to Penpi, when I saw corpses stacked like carcasses in a butcher's yard, to me they represented not warriors secure in heaven or the tears of women, but so many men expended, so many chariots useless, so many spears and arrows which also required replacement. Except for Pharaoh, I have more personal property than any man in Egypt, and yet I am constantly haunted by the fear of poverty. A fear so ephemeral, it's easy to dispel. Ephemeral? Dear brother, you have been well protected by the living water. He laughed sardonically. Sometimes I think there must be Hebrew blood in my veins, for though I grudge every uten which is spent on needless extravagance, the lavishness of my household gives me a kind of hollow security. I'm not alone in the folly, for though between Ramoses and Amen, Ra, the country is taxed so heavily that the people begin to mutter in the wine shops. We are envied. We are envied of the world. The world has good reason for envy. I said this only to console him, but my remark increased his unease. But where is the greater part of our gold, our ivory, our precious woods? In Pharaoh's treasured city? No, it is hidden in the temples, and no tallies are available even to me. There are temples of Amun-Ra in Punt, in Nubia, in every province, and every subject country. If Ramoses challenged them without a month's Egyptian gold would triple. Egypt's king would tipple Egypt's king from the throne of Egypt. At last I realized why Karadan had suddenly become more eager for the birth of a winged pharaoh, even than Ramoses, or I. But if Pharaoh were also high priest of Amun-Ra, it would be the salvation of the two lands. His voice was almost shrill. Neb, I dare you not tell Ramoses that we cannot afford new cities, new roads, new monuments to his vanity. I have tried to do so, but always he says that Pharaoh will cure our poverty with a new war of conquest. He means it, Neb. He means it, although I have tried to prove to him by the records of many voices that war is never expedient. You consider war imminent? No, for there is sufficient to his treasure city to keep him amused for 10 years, for 15 years, if we have good Niles. You understand me? I think so. I said this guardedly. Then tell me, this matter is too urgent, too vital for apprehensions, sorry. Then tell me this matter is too urgent, too vital for misinterpretations. You brought me to Tanis because you hoped that I could make Ramoses forget his dream and declare Metemptah the royal heir. You hoped that Metemptah would become popular with the common people, so popular that you could have used him as a curb on his father's extravagance. When you came to me, the reluctant recognition that the boy would prove even more headstrong than Ramoses, you grasped a new opportunity. The 28 virgins had seemed no more than another example of Pharaoh's difficult vanity. But now you believe that the outcome may fulfill your purpose beyond your most optimistic expectations. If this child is born, and we, for the first 10 years, can train him in secret to become a master of integrity, then he can be produced at the precise moment when you have to inform Pharaoh that he will have drastically to reduce his scale of expenditure. Ramoses, instead of attempting to prove that the thunder of Pharaoh's chariot can shake the world from Sardinia to the Euphrates, will become content to rest in the reflected glory of his son in Horus. Have I read your mind correctly, Caradon? There were tears in his eyes as he turned to face me. As usual, you oversimplify, my dear brother, and put words into my mouth which were as yet only half-formed thoughts at the back of my mind, but the broad outline is correct. On this child the future of Egypt depends. May our prayers be answered, or it were better that Ramoses had never been born. Ta. Anyway, Pavilion in the Reeds is the next chapter 19. I hope you'll have a lovely Saturday. I've just found these things in this book. I must have pressed them. I do that sometimes for fun. Bye bye.